Hello and welcome back to TNN's coverage of the world's 9 best fantasy football players league. I'm your host, and this is what we have for you this week. To recap, we send it out to LA with Tommy Bahama. And thank you, Tommy Bahama. And now, here is Danny Football. Hey, what's up, guys? Danny Football here, back for another week of expert predictions. Okay week for me last time, going 3-3, moving my total on the year to 43-29. Pretty respectable. My guest, Joe, despite his unconventional picking methods, had a pretty good week, going 5-1. Only incorrect was when he picked against his own team. So congrats to Joe for being only the 4th person this year to beat the expert. Hopefully, we'll be able to get him back on the show at some point, see how he fares in round 2. Now, it's a new week, there's a new guest, and a new chance to beat the expert. So guest, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
What's up, guys? It's your favorite league member, Mike. Do I have anything other than that to say?
You can say whatever you want, Chief.
I think everyone's been hot on my team this year, giving me a lot of shit. I don't think it's deserved because, I've gone through some hard times, but I'll be back next year. That's all I'm going to say. I'm officially out of the playoffs. I will admit it. It's a tough year. Some things went wrong for my team, but we're going to come back strong.
First up, we have In It to a Win It taking on the Texarkana Bandits. In It to a Win It, currently favored in this one, 99% chance to win. Who do you like here?
Well, I think for me in this one, it obviously depends on if Grayson's going to go with the tank or not, but I think no matter what, I'm going to have to go with In It to win it.
Yeah, that's a good pick. Look, fans of the show are going to know I have been high on the Bandits this year. But we really don't need to go too in-depth on this one. In It to a Win It, saved their season last week. Big win over Team M. Vanek. They are now basically secure in the playoffs. I expect the Bandits to tank again this week. They'll likely be looking at the number 3 overall pick in next year's draft. Could be 2, but likely 3. In It to a Win It, easy pick in this one.
I think you got to look at Kamara too. Kamara's had a big drop off with Hill playing, and I think that's definitely going to have some big implications, moving forward into the playoffs.
Next up, we have Too Many Cooks taking on the mental Brick Walls. Brick Walls favored here, 76%. Brick Walls had a rough showing last week, but they were still able to pick up the win, and they're in the driver's seat for securing the division crown and that first round bye. Win here will likely do that for them as long as they put up a respectable score, don't lose the points for battle. Too Many Cooks, on the other hand, out of playoff contention, and I currently have them projected as the number 4 overall pick in the draft. Either way in this matchup, they really can't do much to change their draft position. I think they're pretty much locked in that spot. With that in mind, I wouldn't be surprised if Joe tries to play spoiler here. We know Joe loves to, rub some people the wrong way at Miguel, at Brandon Cooks. And honestly, this Brick Walls team, they're going to be really hurt this week by some buys and injuries. A lot of question marks on the offensive side. This is one that really could come back to bite me, but I like Too Many Cooks here. Joe, really sneaky. I think he would love to play spoiler to this Brick Walls team in what is actually a very winnable matchup for Too Many Cooks. Of course, this could all blow up in my face if he decides to tank again, but sometimes that is a risk you have to take as an expert. Too Many Cooks here.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree with you here. I think I've been pretty low on Too Many Cooks this year. Obviously they have the star power Mahomes, but I think outside of that, nothing really impresses me that much about their team. They haven't really been in the playoff hunt all year. I think everyone kind of knew they were going to be in the bottom six, and I think going to this matchup, they're probably going to tank. They're likely going to end up with that spot, but if they tank hard enough this week, and things go different with Grayson, you never know. They could get a better draft pick, and I think that they're going to have that in mind. With that being said, I do like Brett's team. I've been high on Brett's team all year. I think the one question mark this week is with Mike Davis on a bye. His RB2 spot is definitely up in the air if Gurley does not play next week. So, I think moving into the playoffs, he's a team to watch for, especially at that RB2 spot.
Next up, we have Team M. Vanek taking on Team Big Chungus 22. Battle of the two nameless teams. M. Vanek favored here, 99% chance to win as of time of recording. Who do you like here?
So, as most of you know, I am low on Team N. Vanek. And, when you bring up the statistics, 99% chance, I look at Will's team and I'm saying, so you're saying there's a chance? And this week, I like that chance. So, I think every person in the league that I've talked to, they've said, M. Vanek is looking great. This team is going to win. And I've been saying for the past multiple weeks, don't get ahead of yourself. Or as the great Lee Corso says, not so fast, midget. I think Mike Vanek jumped the gun on going all in this week. I think every time he made a trade, I looked at that trade and just shook my head saying, I could have offered him more, or he lost this trade. I think especially that Carson Wentz trade for a second-round pick, that baffled me. I think it baffled everyone in the league, and I think Mike Vanek definitely lost that trade. Not only did he lose that trade, but now he has Carson Wentz on his team to double the misery of being a fan of Carson Wentz. Actually, at the end of the day, I came out the winner of that trade because that pick is now mine for Isaiah Simmons. So yes, as bad as that trade was, it did work out for me. But Will has a great team, and his bench went off last week, and I think take that bench, put in your starting lineup, and he's going to beat M. Vanek this week, and that's my big upset. Mike Vanek misses the playoffs after going all in. This is one for the history books.
Yeah, I agree. The Carson Wentz trade, in retrospect, probably not great for M. Vanek. As it stands right now, Team M. Vanek is the only team currently on the outside of the playoffs who has a chance to still make it in, but they need a big win here and some help from some other teams. There have been some whispers that Big Chungus might try to play spoiler and end Team M. Vanek's playoff bid. They could have had a really big week last time if they would have put their starters in. And if they try to go for the upset, this is one that could get really interesting. M. Vanek having some tough luck with James Conner possibly out with COVID, and confirmed PED user cheater Will Fuller suspended the rest of the year right after that trade with the Bandits. Great trade for the Bandits. Great time to sell on Fuller. I would love to see Big Chungus try to go for the upset. But outside of their explosion on the bench last week, I have been very low on this team this year. I would love to be proven wrong in this one, but I have to go with Team M. Vanek here.
I disagree with that. Will's going to be the hero of the league.
I'd love to see it, but I just haven't seen the evidence there yet.
He will have good relations with every other member in the league moving forward. And that only plays to his advantage.
Next up, we have the Lock'em Sock'em Robots facing off against Ham and Throw. Robots currently favored here, 70% chance to win. This is a big rematch from week 2. Super high scoring affair. I believe it's the first and third highest scoring performances in the league to date. Ham and Throw coming off of a close win last week, trying to ride a little momentum into making their draft pick a little worse, trying to spite Miguel. I looked a little into the data on this one for all of the math fans out there, and I think this is something pretty interesting. The math says that Ham and Throw is not as good as the Robots. They have only outscored the Robots team one time all year. Robots consistently better than Ham and Throw. Robots know the pressure is on this week. Win first round bye, securing that $15 first place division prize for Commissioner Tooch. I expect them to perform. They've got some favorable matchups. Robots all the way here.
We'll see. I also have to disagree with you here. Obviously, as I said before, Hammond Throw has gotten the shit end of the stick quite a lot this year, and I think people in the league like to tell him frequently as much as they can, especially Miguel, as the owner of my first round pick. I think the fact that it's not going to end up as a top 3 as he's been claiming since week 1, I think that really got to him and got in his head, so he has to take it out, the anger on my team. But actually, before this, I did a lot of research. These are all stuff on my team, so I'm just going to slowly work my way through this. I'm not going to defend it completely because I will admit my team had some issues this year. More than one, believe it or not. But the first one we're going to start off with is injuries. So we're going to start at the top. My first 2 picks in the draft, Michael Thomas and Austin Eckler, those were the killers of my team. Michael Thomas was injured from weeks 2 to 8. Okay, so 7 whole games. And between the 4 recent healthy games he's played, 2 of those are with Taysom Hill, who, believe it or not, does not throw the ball very much. And so I think that having, that big guy, especially after what he came off of last year not being in my lineup, big issues. But right behind them is a bigger issue with Austin Eckler, who missed 8 entire games this year. I predicted that if Austin Eckler was healthy, if you look at the game when Herbert came in, he got 16 targets the game before he got injured, comes back this week, and he gets 11 targets on top of a lot of carries. I think this man would have been a top 5 running back this year if he had played, and I think in the long run, that would have made a huge difference. Some other minor things, I got Michael Pittman, Jalen Reagor, Damian Harris, all having at least 3 games out. Young guys that didn't get as much productivity as they would have wanted to. Something to watch moving forward. But as far as my schedule, that loss in week 2 to your team, Tooch, by 7 points. 7 points. I would have beaten every other team by at least 4.
Not my team, by the way. That's
yeah. Sorry about that. You look just like them. It's weird. Other close losses, I lost by 7, 13, 12, 5, and you can't tell me if you put Austin Eckler or Michael Thomas in any of those games, I don't have a great chance of winning. And that 1 game win difference puts me in playoff contention into this week. So, all those teams that think I should be, at the bottom of the league, look at the statistics because things are telling you differently. But, with that being said, one interesting statistic that I saw about my team is that I not only lack in the QB department, but we also lack star power. So I have a question for you, Danny Football. When was the last time that I had someone on my team get over 20 points, and who was it? Because this surprised me.
I'm going to go Aaron Jones week 2 when he had that 40-point game. Your team's been pretty bad for a while.
My phone dropped. Okay, so yes, it wasn't that long ago. It was actually week 8, and it was the man known by DJ Dallas, Mr. Irrelevant in the rookie draft picked by Timmy. He scored 20.3, and this was 5 or so weeks ago. But other than that, not many big performances. I had more single-digit QB performances than over 20-point QB performances, and I think, the lack of star power, the lack of QB play, especially after Dallas destroyed Matt Ryan's confidence after week 2, after that big comeback win. Matt Ryan was on MVP pace, and basically it just destroyed him mentally, and he never recovered after that. So, yeah, those are my big issues, but with Eckler healthy, top 5 running back in the league, he's going to have a big week. I think Pittman, hopping into my lineup this week, is going to have a big week. And I think I play spoiler for Tooch's football team, and I knock him out of the bye at no expense of my own.
Sounds like your team is just bad to me.
No, they're not bad. They had the chance to be good, and things just didn't go my way. Next year we're going to come back strong, but we're going to finish the season strong on a 3-game win streak.
All right. Wow. Next up, we have undefeated, never lost, going against Bro Chill. It's just Njoku. Bro Chill currently favored 67% chance to win. Bro Chill coming to this one off a tough loss to Hammond Throw last week, guaranteeing that they will not get that first round bye, but they are still a playoff team for now. A loss here could knock them out of the hunt. And we all know that undefeated, never lost would love to be the ones to play spoiler. They already locked up the number one overall pick, either with their own or with Will's. Big Chungus' first rounder. They're the only two teams that can get that number one overall. Bro Chill may have one of the best defenses in the league, but they have a lot of holes on offense. I think they probably have the worst offense of any team that is in playoff contention. I said it last week, and I was right. This team, Bro Chill, is good to put up 170 points pretty consistently. They got 169 last week. Look, I don't love this pick, but I feel it deep in my gut. They can win this one if they go full strength, undefeated, never lost this week. Miguel, please do not let me down here.
So, I agree with a lot of what you said there, and I think, one thing to say to Nooch is, bro, chill, your team sucks. But, I'm pretty low on both teams, and one team's got to come out loser here, and I'm not fully convinced that Miguel's going to not tank this week, even though I guess he doesn't have a real reason to, but I think if both teams are starting their full lineups, even that being said, I am going to have to go with Nooch here. He has had some decent performances lately, not as good as my performance last week, as you said, with Jason Myers hitting that buzzer beater field goal to put my team over the line. But yeah, I think the running back room for Bro Chill is a little shaky going to the playoffs, but I still give him the edge here. We're going to go with Bro Chill.
And finally, our marquee matchup this week, 10th Ave touchdown taking on the Harry Snotters. 10th Ave currently favored, 99% chance to win. But let me point out, this one is going to be closer. Snotters still have a lot of spots in their lineup that need to be filled. Who do you like in this one?
This one was a tough pick at first. I like both teams. I know Timmy gets a lot of crap from everyone in the league saying he's a fraud. But, I actually don't hate Timmy's team. I think moving into the playoffs, assuming Timmy gets there, if you add a healthy Christian McCaffrey, potentially, Lamar Jackson coming back, I think, Mostert's back. If they're all playing as much as they could, I think that Timmy has a good team moving to the playoffs. But this week, he loses Ronald Jones, obviously doesn't have Christian McCaffrey back, and Devin White are all missing. So I kind of have to give the edge to Tom here because, Watson's clicking at the right time. Granted, he's going to need production from some of his other wide receivers since he had a cheater on his team. That was probably helping him, as his fantasy department. I also think that Tom has the best running back in the league as of right now in Derrick Henry. And I don't know if any of you know this, but Derrick Henry actually has the easiest playoff schedule out of pretty much any running back. The 3 weeks of playoffs, he plays Jacksonville, Detroit, and Green Bay. And I think he's going to score over 20 points in all of those. And I do think Watson continues to put up big numbers even without Will Fuller in the lineup. And Tom also has the best kicker in the league because I don't think many kickers are getting over 20 points except for Younghoe Koo. So yeah, I'm going to stick with 10th Ave in this one. And not only in this one, but I'm going to go ahead and say that 10th Ave is my prediction to win this league.
Yeah, this is a huge matchup right here. Both of these teams currently at 7-5 near the top of the crewman division. If the Snotters lose this one, they could be in danger of missing out on the playoffs entirely, depending on how other games shake out this week. I'm just going to be straight to the point here. This is going to be a bad week for the Snotters, and it really could not be coming at a worse time for them. They've got all their Bucs players on a bye, McCaffrey on a bye. Lamar might still have COVID at that point. Who knows if he's going to be able to go. There's not much I like about this team this week. On the other side, 10th Ave has been rolling recently. Big week last week. I think they come back down to earth a little bit here. A lot of their players, I think you can't rely on that level of scoring consistently, but I still think it's going to be enough to beat up on this depleted Snotters squad this week. 10th Ave to take the win here. Well, Visconti, thank you so much for being on the show this week. I really appreciate having you as a guest. I wish you all the best of luck with your picks. Of course, not as good as me, can't beat the expert, but thank you for being on, and hopefully we'll be able to get you back on at some point.
Thanks for having me. It was good being here for the first time this year. I look forward to going to battle in the group chat with everyone else in the league very soon.
That's all we have for you this time. Be sure to come back next week. I'm your host, and this has been TNN.